Yo, and we're back.
You are back at it again, god damn it. This is I gotta be honest, this is a suspect decision to play this track at the outset. I admit.
We've played sussier tracks.
What the fuck is sussier? I'm trying to...
I mean, this is alright, though.
Is that knowledge sussier? Is that...
That might be.
Yeah?
That actually just might be.
Okay.
But yo, welcome guys to another episode of N APE. We're here listening to some Drake, Honestly Nevermind. And it's episode 79.
I hear you had some things you wanted to, drop by us, and I have a lot of shit to discuss, but it's mostly limited to one topic. Later on, folks, I am going to mention a discussion about antinatalism. Basically the idea that, people should not have kids, but that's for later. Right now, we got to start with whatever the fuck V is thinking about. I have no idea what you're up to, bro.
I mean, honestly, I don't got much.
Spit it out, bro.
But we out here, my boy, alright?
Yeah.
You hear me? You feel me?
I don't know about all that, but yeah.
Alright, yeah. You know what I thought was actually kind of weird? Did you see Adam 22's most recent interview that's been going viral?
Adam 22, this podcaster that he's married to a porn star?
You know him.
What happened with him?
He actually did an interview with, and I want to say allegedly because I'm not 100% sure, but that's what everybody's saying on the net. Pop Smoke's killer.
Really?
He interviewed him. He got out of jail, and my man Adam went straight to the interview.
He got out of jail?
Yes.
How did he get out of jail?
I don't know. I didn't read any about that, but everywhere on the internet it was saying that this is allegedly Pop Smoke's killer.
It hasn't been a decade since he killed that guy.
Yeah, but it happened to be more than one person that was there, so maybe he might have been because what I heard on a quick ass clip, that he wasn't the guy who was getting interviewed, wasn't the gunman.
Right.
But he was there.
He was just part of the group.
Yeah, because supposedly it was like a robbery. That's what it intended to be. And it just happened to
it wasn't the Illuminati trying to, capture his soul.
No, Abe, it wasn't. This is a real human.
Okay.
This isn't some entity, this group that runs the world, But I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. What do you think about Adam doing that? Do you think that's kind of slime ball shit, or no integrity, no morals, or do you think it is what it is?
I don't know why he did it, but I definitely don't think it's a good idea.
I just think it's weird.
I don't think it's good.
Adam but that's his brand though, so we that's how he makes money.
No, yeah, he has every right to do it. I just don't agree with it. I don't think it's good that he did it.
It's very... That's why people call him a culture vulture. People claim that Adam's doing no good to the culture, and he does things like this, or he amps more drama by interviewing gang members who are having beefs with, not even gang members, rappers who are on some gangbanging shit that have problems with other rappers. You get the whole stick. So,
but I don't know. I feel like it's kind of rewarding someone involved in a murder. And if it wasn't rewarding, I don't think he would show up. I don't think anybody wants to dude, up to a punishment. No,
I agree. I don't even think even talking about things like that on an interview is dude, that's
Another thing is that's
a traumatic moment that went down in your life, and you're really trying to talk about that on a fucking podcast. And it just happened, and this is I don't know, it's just weird.
It is pretty weird.
It's weird, dog. Yeah. I'm not. If I ever, God forbid, which I wouldn't happen, but if I ever got into some shit like that, bro, the last thing I'm gonna do is hop on a podcast. Imagine hop on the N APE podcast and just be like, "Yo, that shit was tough."
No, I really do think that another part of this is just, are you not concerned about your own well-being, bro? Because you can create a lot of enemies.
Do you think it's clout chasing? Very.
I don't know why he's doing it, but it's an odd choice. There's a lot of ways to chase clout that don't
And trust me, there was more in the interview.
You don't think there's a risk of like getting involved in like problems with people by doing shit like that?
Of course. That's a no-brainer. Eh? Why would somebody... Pop Smoke was probably well connected in New York. He had his people and shit, you know.
Yeah, I don't think it's...
I'm sure they're not happy of seeing this, you feel me? Like one of his friends that passed away or family members, like, you think they like seeing shit like this?
Yeah, and doesn't he interact with New York rappers?
I mean, yeah, Adam does, so, but he's more, he interacts with all types. But but he's located, I think, in LA.
Yeah,
he's located there. But yeah, bro, I just think that was just weird and odd.
I mean, I like I said, I think it's two things. You know, one of them is like, first of all, that's putting a risk to yourself, bro, because you're getting involved in shit that involved a murder, and his interviews they're not formal. It's not like some dude from a fucking news network is coming to interview Charles Manson. Right, and he has like very specific questions, and he's trying to pinpoint the evil nature of this.
It's not even that.
It's not that. That's not what he's doing. He's just interviewing. He's just having a conversation with some dude that killed somebody.
Right, but it happened to be one of the most. He was a super famous rapper, bro. So of course it's gonna get a lot of attention, and it's gonna get fucking. But I was gonna say like Adam fucking, he had super, like, he revered XXXTentacion.
Did he?
Like, I don't know if I can say revere, I don't know him personally. But I'm sure he was a big fan. I've heard him talk, like, highly of him. So, and I think they were close. Adam interviewed him, and that got him, like, that's like one of his most viewed videos of all time, because he interviewed X, but whatever. I was just gonna say, I don't think Adam would interview the guys who dealt with
who killed it, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he wouldn't do that. Like,
same way you probably wouldn't interview somebody if they killed a family member of yours or some shit. You probably wouldn't do it.
You know what I mean? So it's like...
I mean, some people... I can see why some people might do it, because they might want to, get some understanding as to why the fuck did you do this? Right? Some people would do something like that. You see it in court all the time. You know,
yeah.
The parents or some shit of the person who was murdered trying to figure out an explanation, like trying to figure out, why did you do this?
Right.
Because they want to like be able to at least understand why this happened. They want to give some fucking meaning to it.
But, I know. But then fuck it. They're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let me just spill all the beans on Vlad TV or just or No Jumper. Like, I don't know, dog. It's just. But like I said, they said that it was. From what I think he said, that it intended to be a robbery,
right.
And then it just happened to end like that.
There's also not a fine line between, like, entertainment and news, right? Because, you could say that something is, like, news about celebrities or some shit like that, and that's a distinction. There's a distinction between that and just straight up entertainment, even though I don't think that's that big a distinction. I think it's just basically people being nosy about other people's
being
lives,
entertained by other people's news, or like just new things that are happening in their lives or whatever.
Right. So there's that, and then there's basically just providing entertainment yourself. In other words, not just talking about shit that happened in somebody's life, but like having conversations that are meant to entertain people.
Right.
Like you would do in a podcast.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think there's that big a fine line with Adam 22. I think it's a podcast.
He just sees it is what it is. There should be no like emotional, any type of like logic. If it's an interview that's gonna get views and money, we're in there.
I mean, damn, bro, that's a wild.
I feel like that's kind of his like.
That's a wild thing.
I don't know, man. But whatever.
Know what interview was wild? Speaking of interviews, the interview about the guy that like fucked his wife, like the BBC dude.
Oh my god,
that shit was his name. That shit was comedy. I forget the guy's name, but he was
Jason Love.
He was saying shit like
Oh my god,
bro. He was telling stories in his interview about like some guy that he paid like 10 racks a month or some shit for him to fly out there and fuck his wife.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And his wife would be like saying humiliating shit to him. To the guy, to the cuck.
Right.
And basically, like, this dude is just busting nuts inside of these bitches and getting paid racks to do it. But the weird thing is that there's this cuck watching you and enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
And
bro.
so that this is very odd. I don't want to sexually please another man.
Yeah.
Even if it's long distance, fam. This is not something I want to do.
That's wild, bro. Yo, that man is like, he's down bad, bro.
But the way he talked about the way, he's like, oh, of course it was better. Yeah, but she hadn't been loosened up like that in a while, you know. So, and then
he was describing how him and Lena, how it went and shit, and bro, that
was some wild shit, bro.
Dog, Adam is the bingo, bro. How are you gonna? Oh my God.
And the next level of it came when they asked him about the cream pie.
Yeah, I think we talked about this.
He cream pie, and then he ate that shit, and then she ate that shit. She just licked it off her coochie and just fucking licked that shit up and they asked him if it was scripted. He was like, no, it wasn't scripted. You know, it's like you get in the zone. You know what I'm saying? It's just that you get into it, and it just happens. It just happened,
I mean, yeah, but we talked about this though. It's just that's so wild, bro. I can't live a cuck life, bro. The cuck phenomenon.
What the fuck is it about?
They I don't know what it is. They get off on that shit though, bro. Dude, I was gonna say, fucking Russia banned trans people from being able to adopt.
Okay.
Random knowledge. I just found this somewhere, but
yeah.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that period? Forget Russia.
Yeah, I would question this idea of like trans people just adopting kids.
Then wouldn't we be taking rights from them?
I don't think they have that right. Yeah, I think being mentally stable is a prerequisite to having another kid. I think a kid has a right.
But you're starting with the...
That it's a mental problem?
Yeah.
It is.
Well, then that's where it might be an issue because I don't think every trans person has a mental problem.
You don't think it's a mental problem to have a strong desire to be in the opposite sex despite not even knowing what that would feel like?
I mean, well, first you're, and I'm just playing devil's advocate for the sake of it. But do you think? I don't think every trans person that claims they're trans has been, what's the word? Transitioned, right?
No, they don't have to.
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
So would they be considered mentally ill?
Somebody that wants to have the opposite.
Not they just consider themselves to be trans, but they didn't transition.
Yeah, but what the fuck is it? Consider yourself to be trans.
So you're just okay. That's what I'm saying.
What do you mean?
We need some context. So you're just stating people who simply transitioned into a different.
No, I'm stating people that would like to be in the opposite sex. That's
people as well. People that just want to. They're just thinking of it.
It's not that they're thinking of it. They want.
They're desiring it. That's their desire. That's.
They wish they had been born.
In the opposite
sex.
Sure. Okay. So anybody that's thinking like that or has those desires, mentally ill.
That is a problem, bro. I would question how that person is going to help a child develop their own identity properly if that person hasn't figured it out themselves.
Yeah, but I'm sure people have questioned that and figured it out later in life. It's not to say...
but trans people haven't.
You're saying there's just a constant battle they're going through?
Well, if they're trans, it is a battle. They desire one thing,
sure,
which is completely not going to happen. And it's a fundamental part of them. They can't change it. They strongly wish that it were another way. Mm-hmm. I fail to see how that's not a problem. And I would question... I'm saying this is not absolute. I'm not saying
I know.
I'm not trying to fucking legislate on this point. I'm saying that I would question how well a person in that situation would raise a child.
How can we determine that? How can we...
I would hope that there's some good research being done on it.
Is there a way we could do a test? Or is there a way we can...
I'm sure there's a lot of tests that...
Are there... I mean, I'm sure there's tests to adopt fucking kids, right? Like, there's a process, there's a...
I'm not sure what it's like. I hope it's, more difficult than getting a dog or some shit.
Yeah, I was going to say. Because that would be fucking horrible. I mean, I've heard that the fucking... There's a waiting list, to adopt kids.
Well, that's... I think that's just inefficiency in many ways. Because if there's that many people that want to adopt kids, and it's that difficult to adopt the kid,
yeah,
that might be a fucking problem. Because there's a lot of kids that need to be adopted.
For sure. Some weird shit going on.
So who knows? I mean, maybe it's just that difficult to be able to figure out if someone should have a kid, you know? I don't know what the fuck. There's no objective measure I can tell you. I can tell you things that basically everyone would agree with.
You think everyone would agree with that?
No, that basically.
What is basically?
I'm saying that, like, most people would agree that you probably shouldn't, you know,
that you should question a trans person to adopt a kid?
A pedophile probably shouldn't adopt a kid. Right?
100%. We all agree with that. That's obvious.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's some basic shit that basically everyone agrees on.
Okay, we could agree with
right?
that. Yeah, no fucking a psychopath.
They should be able to provide the kid with the fucking necessities. So if the kid should not be going hungry and shit.
Right, of course.
Right.
They should be a good parent.
So these are things that people agree with, but
okay.
the specifics of what it means to be a good parent is something that even parents disagree on many times.
Right, it's subjective.
There's parents that'll be like, no, you gotta punch that little fucker if he tries to make a scene at the store.
Right.
The other parent will be like, no, you just ignore him. The other parent will be like, no, you can't ignore Timmy. Timmy is gonna fuck your shit up if you ignore him.
No, for sure.
And there's all types of...
Yeah, parenting is subjective. That is...
There's a lot of shit going on there, you know? It's
Sometimes you happen to get some bad parents. It sucks.
Yeah.
It'd be like that. But yeah, fucking... what were we talking about? Oh yeah, the trans people being able to adopt. So you think overall they should be questioned and...
I don't have a prognostic. I just question...
Right.
The idea that it should just be a given that trans people should just be able to adopt with the same methodology that everybody else that tries to adopt.
Right.
I
was gonna say, damn, I don't even want to sound transphobic right now. I really don't.
Well, you just go ahead and say what the fuck you gotta say, bro.
I was gonna say, because if it's a chick transitioning into a dude.
Uh-huh.
Oh no! If it's a dude transitioning into a chick and they're trying to adopt a kid as a mom.
Yeah.
I would find that an issue.
They're trying to adopt the kid as a mom.
Yeah, since they transition to a girl. I'm saying a dude who is now a chick.
And it's that as opposed to a chick who's now a dude.
Right, which is still, but I'm just saying, like, I just thought it was based, like, we might have to check on that.
You just find you find issue with that particular instance of trans and the adoption process.
I'm just joking. It's just jokes, but it would be. That's why I said it wouldn't sound transphobic, but it is interesting though. But yeah, I don't know if I could say that. I do get your point, though. It's like somebody that would be wanting to transition and, like, get a whole... At what level are you brainwashed or are you just fucked in the head?
That's a good question, right?
Because maybe some people are just brainwashed, you know? And they're really, like...
Yeah.
Are gangbangers mentally ill?
Well, I don't think it's a sign of mental health to be gangbanging.
But that's what I'm asking, because, like, since...
But I can't say that I'm going to give a diagnosis to a motherfucker just because he was raised in Compton or some shit.
No, I just used that analogy just to say, is somebody getting brainwashed?
Yeah.
Is someone that got brainwashed officially
considered
mentally ill?
I think in situations that involve, like, group violence, right? Doesn't matter if it's war or if it's gangbanging. I think there's always an element of brainwashing that goes on. Now, it doesn't mean that everybody that participates in it continues to believe the brainwashing, but it definitely goes on.
Mm.
You have to have certain core beliefs that hold that gang together because it becomes sort of like an institution.
Yeah, but I was just saying in the sense of
same thing with the military
and the trans thing, though. Like, maybe they're just brainwashed.
Right. No, I don't know what just brainwashed is, though. I mean, you're saying somebody convinced them that it's better for them to be the opposite sex? Or?
Not someone in particular, but all the media out there.
I'm saying no. There's definitely a huge environmental impact. That I don't think there's any doubt about that.
I was saying it's so extreme though to this point,
especially with girls. A lot of girls are being talked into like doing risky shit that they would have outgrown actually.
Because because girls are more likely to fall into where men are more.
They're
macho,
more self-conscious about their bodies.
Machismo.
Especially once they hit puberty, that becomes a huge era of feeling that way. So yeah.
But yeah, I was just saying that maybe it's just a form of just all this brainwashing. Maybe people aren't really just mentally ill straight up, you know.
No, they're definitely mentally ill though, because they feel bad. They feel bad enough to have convinced themselves. If you're feeling so bad about yourself that you want to go to a fucking surgery room to try to convince other people and yourself that you're closer to the opposite sex, you know, that's a drastic move to make.
Can someone just become mentally ill, like just off the bat, off some like traumatic or just like
traumatic experience?
Yeah,
that happens all the time, bro. Yeah.
Maybe that happened. A lot of people.
PTSD happens like that.
Nah, but I was just asking because maybe, but nah. I was thinking like maybe a lot of people that decide to do that has had like something very traumatic happen to them.
I don't know.
Or like I said, I was just saying brainwashing because maybe they've seen so many things and it's like.
You know what's an interesting thing? A lot of autistic people fall into this situation.
I've heard about that. Is that true though?
Yeah. There's been some studies done on clinics that ended up. One of them in Britain that was shut down. They actually looked to see how many of the kids had autism, and I think it was like half of them, which is a lot because it's only like 1 in fucking 60-something, 70-something people that has some form of autism.
And half of them were
right. So then this is
that's a lot.
There's something going on.
Damn.
And a lot of it does.
Why do you think it gravitates towards?
Oh, because I think, first of all, people with autism, a lot of times they have issues with a sense of self. So like a personal identity.
So that's a good way to get to gain some or to make themselves.
No, it won't gain some, but out of that absence of a sense of self, out of that strong ego that most people end up developing naturally.
They're attracted by it?
No, they just they notice these things, and so they start asking questions about it, and so somebody comes in and tries to give them these answers. I mean, if they're attracted by it, I'm not sure exactly what to say to that, because the phrasing, I'm not sure.
So, I mean, I'm sure people just appeal to it, right?
Yeah, but I don't think it's so much that they like it. I think they see it as just something that they end up associating with themselves. Like, one of the things that also happens is like people with autism end up having a hard time describing their own, like how they feel emotionally and shit. It's not like they're fucking suppressing it or anything. It's that they don't. A lot of the times they'll feel something, but that feeling of something is not the same thing as knowing that the feeling is yours.
I only asked that because I was gonna say, you don't think like some people are just born with that?
With
having.
Oh no! There's 100% biological components, of course.
Okay.
Of course, there's no doubt about that. I mean,
okay.
If there weren't biological components, think about what happens if you remove biology from the equation. There's no person to begin with.
Right.
So then, of course, there's biological components.
There's some percentage.
The idea is how flexible biology is. In other words, like how stringent is it? Is it innate?
Is it always? Does everybody have the same? Do some people have it less? Do have it like?
Definitely, some people have it less. Most people don't have it at all.
At all, yeah. I was gonna say, yeah.
Like in most people, it doesn't matter how much you talk to them about, you know, how sexy it would be to have a nice pair of tits along with that cock.
Hey yo, but yeah,
but
they'll be like, yo, none of that.
Most people be like, yo, I'm not into this shit, bro. Get the fuck away from me, you know. But
you're saying more people are more flexible with it, like,
There's some people that are more predisposed to being open to that, yeah.
So with that, and then the whole influence of media, books, just anything that's LGBTQ that's everywhere. You don't think that's like a big factor as well?
Of course I do. That's why I'm saying that, like, especially in women, you can see a huge leap in young girls that are like identifying as trans and shit. And
damn, we're losing the chicks out here.
It's happening a lot more than it used to.
No way.
You guys still have that charger?
Oh
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
It's happening a lot more than it used to happen, bro.
Damn, dog. We need our straight queens.
I know.
We need them.
I know.
Don't tell me that, though.
But
that is interesting, though. The whole.
A lot of it has to do with social media. Like, there's certain sites that are more that predispose women to it. I think some of it has to do with, like, some social media sites attract women more than others, right?
I mean, more women are on social media.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that, like, there's some social media sites that more women go to than men, and vice versa.
Where would you say Instagram?
Like, I think on YouTube, for example, it's
mostly men. Jordan Peterson quotes that like 80,000 times.
Yeah.
There's mostly men on
on Instagram. I mean, yeah, it's an insecurity development factory for women. Yeah.
By the way, I wanted to bring up, because we did talk about this last pod and I didn't have much info.
Right.
But it does relate to a good segue to social media. Remember we were talking about Mark and why like when he was in court getting grilled and he had to say sorry to the families? I forgot to say the reason was because it was that apparently Instagram contributed to these children's suicide or exploitation. So it had to do with those type of factors. So.
Right.
Which is wild. That's why he was getting grilled.
They're saying that social media contributed to their suicide?
Yeah, or exploitations. Like, I don't know if it was like...
I don't know what they mean by it. That sounds like it's some sexual abuse.
Like some human trafficking shit. Oh, yeah, it was like some, like, dudes talking to, like, young girls from the families and shit like that. Like, yeah, like having the accessibility to be able to do it. But like I said last pod, bro, that at the end of the day is still to the parent. Like,
yeah, I see two issues here, maybe three if we consider the Facebook shit. I mean, yeah, it could be three. One of them is, of course, the parent, right?
That has to be it, bro.
You gotta be able to, you gotta take responsibility for your. That fucking
sucks
kid.
Though. Like, I'm not trying to say like you know.
The second one might be that piece of shit pedophile who was trying to, get whatever the fuck he was trying to, whatever sick shit he was into with these fucking children. And then the last one, of course, is like Mark Zuckerberg. He has it's difficult to say, right? Because on the one hand, say that there's like a fucking theme park or some shit, right? Fucking pedophile heaven.
Okay.
Disneyland.
Yeah.
Or some shit like that. And some fucking pedo shows up there all the time, right? Trying to look for some chicks. Eventually he would probably get caught and get arrested.
Right.
And then on social media...
You're trying to use that analogy to like...
Well, I mean, it's the closest thing I can think of, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't... So
if you know it's a pedophile, you kick him off. If you don't know he's a pedophile, how could you kick him off the theme park if you don't know that he's trying to do some pedo shit?
Right. Are pedophiles even allowed on social media? Yeah, they are.
They're allowed on social media. It's not. No. It's not that. It's that if you see if people know that you're a pedophile, right?
You think you're saying they should be classified
unless you're doing some fucking pedophile Pride Month shit.
Yeah.
The reason they know you're a pedophile is because you're doing some pedo shit.
I heard this clip of some lady calling into his radio station, like trying to say that we should add P to the LGBTQ.
The P for pedophile?
Yeah. And how we should...
But doesn't she know it's now MAPS, not pedophile? Pedophile's too offensive to the people that...
Yeah, I don't know how old this clip was, but I seen it recently.
It's fucking hilarious, bro.
I seen it recently. Yo, she's dead ass trying to convince these two people on radio, like, yeah, we should do this. And these guys are like, are you trying to, like, stick up for a pedophile? And she's like, no, hear me out. And I'm like, the fuck is this lady talking about? But yeah, bro, she was saying that we shouldn't shun them and shit like that. I'm like, I mean, whatever, dog. I don't care about none of that shit. Like, I just thought that was based. Like,
so she actually went.
She called up to the fucking radio station and had the audacity to say this shit. It sounded like a radio station.
It's just that if you have a list of priorities and that one is so high that you call in to strangers to get publicity about your message.
It could have been a podcast. I'm just saying.
Whatever it was, I mean, God damn.
She was blunt as fuck. I'm like, what the hell?
That's a wild thing, bro.
Good old Sunkiss, bro.
I mean, the problem is that just like there's always going to be people that try to kill other people, there's always going to be people that try to fuck kids.
There's always going to be murderers. There's always going to be rapists.
And so the problem is that you can't solve that problem by fucking, like, normalizing it. I mean, you don't want to normalize murder.
No,
anyway.
100%. No, you got to tell that to these fucking judges and these fucking people that give them... What's that lady, Miss...
the one that gives them light sentences?
Miss Jackson? I forgot. She's like the...
No, you're thinking about that Outcast song, bro. There's no...
No, yeah. No. You know what I'm talking about. Natija Brown Jackson. So I don't know her first name. I could butcher that.
Is it the Ketanji?
Ketanji.
That sounds like a fucking anime name.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, she's the new Supreme Court.
Yeah.
She be giving, like... She's got grilled about this, too, on court.
Yeah.
Like, why are you giving these people life sentences? And, bro, she does not, like... She will give, like, oh, based on the courts and this and that, I gotta, like, she would just give you this whole, like, fucking bullshit and not even answer the question. Real lawyer shit.
Yeah.
And he would ask her straight up, like, yo, like, so are you gonna answer the question? Did you agree with how you sentenced the guy?
I don't remember right now.
Oh, no, like I said.
It's too specific.
Like I said, Senator Hawley, I said my answer already. And, like, bro, she was like, I'm like, oh, man, like, she didn't answer, like, how she felt about the sentencing. I think one of the guys actually got arrested again after he got out.
Yeah.
After the light sentencing, and she still didn't, like, respond to, like, oh, how do you feel about that?
Right.
She still was like, oh, blah, 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 like, deflecting, and...
That's some wild shit, bro.
Real Marxist shit.
That is some psycho shit.
I mean, they did ask her, what is a woman, and she couldn't answer that.
She said she's the one that needs a biologist?
She is the one that said she needs a biologist in the courtroom to be able to answer that.
That is some wild shit.
Yo, I be watching these videos high as hell at night, just being like, yo, what are people? This is America, dog.
Jesus Christ.
But that is some real Democrat shit. I don't know what else I got, dude. Fucking... Remember I asked you about math being an invention or discovery?
Yeah.
You said it was a...
Discovery.
Yeah, I remember I told you I heard about this on a Neil deGrasse podcast. I remember what they said now. I don't think I told you last time. They actually said the first guy, I don't know who that guy was. It was some Asian dude. He said that he thinks it was an invention because I'll tell you why he said it. And then Neil actually was like, oh, we need like a word for like two of these words together because I can't. He pretty much couldn't like say either or.
Yeah.
So he was trying to like...
It makes sense, I mean, in a way.
But the first guy was saying it was an invention because he thought that math is this like thing that we made up something to be able to understand it. That's pretty much the best way I could describe it. Like it's like the nature's out there, and then we just based on what we
to describe it, right?
Based on what we use this I don't know how to say it. This method. We use this method, and this is how we're gonna perceive math.
Well,
like,
it's almost like a language in a way. It's not really a language, but it's kind of like a language.
Yeah,
it's a way of describing things. But,
right.
But it's what you discover is the things that you're describing. That's the discovery part. Like if you're discovering something, right? If you're trying to figure out, like for example, let's use an argument about something that's subjective for comparison, right? Like if I'm trying to figure out whether killing someone is good or bad, right? And say I end up having a conversation with somebody, we go back and forth, and we come to the conclusion that it's bad to kill somebody, right? That sort of thing is that's pretty much a discovery. Right. I mean, I mean, don't get me wrong. Morality is subjective, and that's a terrible example. Mm-hmm. But I think that if you're figuring out how something works,
That's already a discovery just because you...
Then it already works. You're just figuring out that it works.
You're saying that's how pretty much math is.
Yeah.
We just happen to figure out how to...
Because math has a lot... There's logics, right? There's systems of logic, and to figure out how those systems of logic work, that's it. That's something that you discover. No, you're good. That's not some shit that you make up. I mean, if it were the case that you make it up, you could also make up that 2 + 2 = 5, and it would be every bit as valid if it was just made up, because at that point, math is just art.
Fucking... No, yeah. No, I kind of agree with Neil's point. Like, it's like kind of like... I feel like they're both needed, I guess. We need, like...
Yeah.
But I hear what you're saying, too, though.
But I think, strictly speaking, it is a discovery. But also, I mean, the part that's an invention is the way that we... The
language part. The way we...
Right, the way that we communicate with these symbols to describe things. But
I think that's what he meant then, I guess. But, dude, you saying 2 + 2 = 5 now reminded me. I seen the... I don't know if you've seen it, Eric Weinstein or Weinstein, however you say it. And Terrence was on Joe Rogan. Did you see any of that?
Oh, God. Oh, jeez. The Terrence Howard shit?
Yes, with Eric Weinstein. He pulled up like an actual...
No.
You never seen that?
No, he pulled up?
He pulled up.
I know that Terrence Howard was there, but Weinstein pulled up?
He pulled up.
Oh, fuck. That must have been brutal.
They were there for 4 hours.
Wait. How did that go for Howard? That must have...
I could pretty much summarize it like in a big, easy way.
Yeah, please do.
Pretty much, Eric thought that all the shit that Terrence was doing with geometry was cool. Like, it was awesome. Like, he's doing all these cool little things. Like, that's pretty much... And then everything else that had to do with, like, math, physics, and anything else, just complete, like, just horseshit. Like, he was just, like... He pretty much said it, like, in the beginning. He's like, yo, the possibility of Terrence discovering something new in math, physics, or... is like, it's impossible. I really doubt it. And then he was just saying, like, the...
But did he say he discovered anything in geometry? I mean, what?
No, because he was just saying it was cool and stuff. He said that possibly... He said that geometry was something that wasn't, like... I guess not a lot of people are on it heavy. And he was saying that he did something. I don't know exactly. You gotta watch it. Because this man's talking... He's on another level of, like, geniusness, I guess. I don't know what I think he's, like, a physicist, or he does, like, a PhD in math or some shit. I forgot. And they're talking about tetrahedrons, and Terrence Howard is, like, showing him how if you put this one on top of this one, that there's this, like, energy that's, like, it's too much.
He's talking about some spirit science shit.
No, but Eric was pretty much translating what Terrence was trying to say for a lot of the episode. Because he was telling him, like, he was like, bro, like, he was telling me, like, bro, my colleagues, my peers, when they seen this shit, they were all laughing, like... They're like, he was just straight up. He was like straight up most of the times. Like, dude, like, and he was like, yeah, I hate to see it. Like, he said he was pissed about it. Like, he was like, nah, I didn't like that.
That's brutal.
So that's why
who was pissed off about
Eric.
That? Oh, that he didn't like that they were making fun of him.
He didn't like that. He didn't like that they were like that Terrence, because he said that Terrence didn't just know and this and that, but he kind of understood and was able to pretty much say it, like, actually with fucking some knowledge, some actual, some...
So he was trying to school him, but not be a dick.
Oh, he schooled him 100%. Yeah, and not trying to be a dick, pretty much. It was actually cool. It was actually dope.
I gotta watch that, bro.
You gotta watch it, bro.
Amazing.
It's actually super interesting, dog. It's funny as fuck.
That sounds amazing, bro. Fuck.
Yeah, Eric's actually super cool, and it's super nice to him, dog. He could have been way worse.
Oh, no, he could have been fucking obliterated.
A lot of times he was like, you see what you do? There's parts where he says that there's parts where Terrence is doing great, and then he just leaps and does some fuck shit, and then he just wants to slap him. Like, he does some cool shit with geometry, and then he'll just say, like, they were talking about the 1 × 1 = 2. He was like, bro, like, that shit, he was like, bro, it's not impossible. It's not possible, bro.
Yeah, well, like, I always give the example, if I slap you, if I give you 1 slap 1 time, how many slaps did I give you?
Yeah, but... And then Terrence even pulled out his whole example.
Right.
Like he was like, yo, pull out the calculator, let's go. He did the whole, like, the square root of this or that. Like, he was just going ham. And then...
Because, like, I think that's a fairly easy way to demonstrate that. And somebody will become convinced, because if I give them 1 slap one time,
No, yeah, I agree with you.
Asked them how many times did I slap you. Well, the only reason we're saying 1 times 1 is because 1 describes what's happening, the
that
slap.
one time.
And then the other one describes how many times it occurred. The slap.
Yeah.
So this is about as basic, bitch, as it gets in terms of math.
Eric tells him straight, like, yo, bro, 1 times 1 is not 2. Like he just tells him.
That is fascinating shit.
And he even said that he was pissed that Joe even allowed him to even, like, spew that and this and that.
I mean, that's like the Kanye shit to me, bro. That.
But, what else did they talk about?
What the fuck is going on in Rogan's podcast these days? God damn.
No, he's been having some interesting people.
He's just getting wild in this bit. I love that shit.
No, yeah, he had Billy Carson. I seen that one too.
That's the most entertaining shit ever, bro. I mean.
No, yeah, that's he's been.
You said Billy Carson was what? You said he was the cracked out Graham Hancock.
Yeah, I don't. Give me your thoughts when you listen to that. I could be wrong, though. But he did seem like OD confident. When I hear some guy that's like just saying things and he's like very confident.
Yeah, I wonder why he
no, don't get me wrong. He seemed like he was knowledgeable like a lot of
I'm sure. I mean, if
like,
you're
like religious,
if you're that into shit, I mean, eventually you get some knowledge of it. I think it's sort of like the flat earthers and shit. They end up getting like fucking they end up getting formulas from physics books and they misconstrue shit that actual physicists study, and it's incredible.
Right, turn it into their own shit and but yeah, Billy Carson, you're gonna have to check him out and see if he's dude, I had something I wanted to tell you right now. Fuck.
So did I. I gotta take a fucking piss. Jesus Christ.
We'll be back. So what do you got for us, Abe?
I've been having this in the back of my mind. I want to tell you something, man.
All right.
There's this fucker called David Benetar.
Okay, Benetar. It's a funny last name.
I know, it sounds like a fucking extinct dinosaur name, you know. It's a
Benetar.
But this is a guy, he's a philosopher from South Africa. He doesn't show his face in the interviews and shit because of fear that people might like fuck him over, like try to kill him or some shit over the views he holds. Or maybe it's just because he's trying to protect his identity and his personal life and he doesn't want, I don't know. Who knows, right? But sure. It would make sense considering the philosophy I'm about to tell you about. This is a gentleman who wrote a book that really, it got him a lot of attention. You know, he's been interviewed at this point. I mean, he's been interviewed by Sam Harris, for example, right? That already is going to get you a lot of attention. He's very famous among like circles of people that are interested in just, you know, ideas and science and shit. So, but one of the he also had a debate with Jordan Peterson, and to be fair, Jordan Peterson didn't exactly lay out his arguments properly. There was a lot of times where it's like, yeah, you read the book, but you really didn't go to the point of being that specific with the shit that he said. He's very specific as a philosopher, this guy, and he has his philosophy is. Well, people tend to describe it as just antinatalism. Basically, the idea that people should not have kids, right? And
we've talked about an organization that I wonder if he's has any connections to it.
No, he has his reasons for not having kids has nothing to do with the environment or any of that shit.
Okay.
That's none of his shit. No. His idea is that life is so fucking bad that it is immoral to bring new people into existence. Because
they didn't have the option to?
First of all, they didn't consent.
Sure.
Second of all, life is going to bring harm, right?
Right.
Because if you're alive, you're going to be harmed at some point, right? And so that's bad. Whereas if you don't exist, you can't be harmed.
Isn't that ironic that he was born to be able to share this view?
Well, here's where it gets more interesting. He also doesn't think that his conclusion implies that people would be better off if they killed themselves or anything like that necessarily.
Right, I figured that.
He's not saying he's not advocating for mass suicide.
Sure, he doesn't want to Jim Jones everybody.
But he is saying that it's better never to have been born. So he's saying, oh no, he's very specific about this type of shit. He's like, oh no, this is an argument about people who have not been born. People who are already born have an interest in continuing to live. In other words, once you're already alive, you have an interest in continuing to live.
Yeah, but then that means you don't have an interest for the human population to grow then.
No, well, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Yeah,
might.
That's some cynical shit. Like,
no, he thinks he's doing a great service because he's letting people know that life is so terrible.
Why? Where's this? Where does he come with that?
Let me give you one of the main propositions that he lays out. Right, he's posted this proposition very publicly. He really is doing a lot to make sure that people know what the fuck he actually means.
Sure. What's so bad about life?
Right. So here's one of the ways that he proposes what's good and bad about life, because he thinks it explains a lot. So here's one thing. We're going to talk first about someone who exists, and we're going to compare that person to somebody who doesn't exist.
Come on, dog. Are we really doing this?
We're doing this.
Come on, dude.
We're doing this.
I already know there is no argument to be made. You don't even need to say anything. What is there to even...
I'll tell you right now.
Go for it. What, the person that doesn't exist doesn't feel pain? Sure. Is that one of the options?
Here's the layout for the person that does exist.
This guy's getting me pissed already.
If that person feels if that person is harmed, that's bad.
Sure.
If that person is benefited, that's good. Right? So that's for a person that exists. For a person that doesn't exist, them not being harmed is good.
I mean, that's subjective too.
And then here's where it gets interesting. He says that if somebody is not harmed, in other words, there's the absence of harm because you're not alive, you don't exist. That's not bad. But somehow a person that doesn't exist, if they don't feel any harm, if they're not harmed anyway, somehow that's good.
I mean, how though if they don't exist?
Because he says it's comparative, and so he says that for a person, it's worse for a person that exists to feel pain.
For a person that doesn't exist to not feel pain.
Yeah, but he says it's good for that person not to feel pain because.
But that's not a person.
That's what I'm saying. But he knows it's not a person. But he's saying that that he needs a frame of comparison in order to compare it to somebody that's alive. But if you were to compare it, he says that there is no comparison that's how do you put it? There's no way of solving this issue with the conclusion that life is something that is justifiable in the sense of making new people. And so there's two reasons he gives. One of them is this, right? This is what's called the asymmetry argument. He says that there's no comparison to be made, that the amount of good shit in your life is not enough to outweigh the amount of negative shit in your life. You can't just balance this shit out and be like, it's a net positive.
Okay.
It doesn't work like that. He said, in fact, he goes so far as to say that if somebody were to go ahead and live a perfectly good life, a regular ass life that's good and has a lot of pleasure and very, very little pain, and you were to compare that with somebody that wasn't born at all,
it's still
that those are equivalent.
The person that's
that
living.
There's no net benefit to the person that lived.
I mean,
right? Like this is where he's coming from.
This dude, I don't.
Let me give you another thing that he likes to cite. One of them is this idea of the optimism bias, right? So he says that people don't know how bad they got it. And it's true that like regular mentally healthy people have an optimism bias, which is basically the idea that if you were to ask regular ass people how good what the chances are that their life is going to be, good in the future, that good things are going to happen and shit, mm-hmm. they're gonna rate that as more likely than it actually is. In other words, they're gonna say that their future is gonna be better than it actually is gonna be.
I mean, yeah,
right.
I can agree with that.
And then, so he uses that as part of the citation to.
I mean, that's not even. It's just like a form of talking. People are not just be like, dude, I think my life's gonna be shit. Like that's just not a common.
Oh no, but people's actual like opinions on the matter though, like there's been a lot of research on how optimistic people are about their future.
Gotcha.
And regular people do tend to believe that their future is going to have more good things, so to speak.
That would be considered they're probably healthy, like they're living a regular
Right. But then he says that no, life is actually much worse, and if you could actually get rid of, if you could actually see it for what it is, it's terrible. So sort of like a Schopenhauer sort of way. But it's a very subjective thing in terms of like describing good or bad. And so what he does is he sets out a bunch of different conceptions of good and bad. And one of them is like the Epicurean one, right? So the Epicurean, the Epicureans, they believe that pleasure is the greatest good, right? They're hedonists. And without getting too much into the Epicureans, basically, if you were to use his asymmetry argument, right? Mm-hmm. His argument that where he sets out these things about what's good and what's bad and compares a non-existent person to an existent person. If you were to do it from an Epicurean standpoint, it would say, for example, that for somebody that exists, if they feel pain, that's bad. If they feel pleasure, that's good. But then he would also say that for somebody that never exists, if they don't feel pain, that's good. If they don't feel pleasure, that's not bad. So missing out on pleasure is not bad, but missing out on pain is good.
I don't like this guy, bro.
This is a very interesting thing, though, because my thing is I don't buy that.
I think it's all a crock of shit, bro.
I don't buy that, bro.
Like, why? You're saying Sam Harris and Jordan Peterson talk to this dude?
Yeah.
But, like, they think...
First of all, he's an actual philosopher. He's not, like, coming out... It's not as...
No, I'm not saying... But I just think
he's not that easy to dismiss, either. It's not like he actually is a very intelligent person. I don't buy his arguments at all, because I don't even accept the concept of this weighing of good and bad the way that he addresses it. Also, the way... The ideas that he addresses... For example, he addresses the Epicurean view of pleasure as the greatest good. But of course, you could theoretically take it and make whatever good and whatever bad, and then he would still end up saying that it's still bad. And part of what he cites is like that. No. People think that life is way better than it actually is because when they see the things that they think are good, they think it's going to be way better than it actually is, which is true. If you take their judgment of what's good to be good.
Right. Even then, though, just using the fucking... I get that there's no other...
But here's another problem, though.
Go, my bad, go.
There's also, in psychology, a negativity bias.
Okay.
Just like there's a positivity bias. Just like there's an optimistic bias. There's
both sides.
Right. And you see that a lot in people who have depression, right? You ask somebody who's like really depressed what their future's gonna look like. It's like, oh man, it's fucked up, bro. It's fucked.
Yeah, I'm fucked right now.
There's no hope, bro. There's nowhere to go from here. This is the end of the fucking line, bro. That type of shit happens as well.
So yeah, what about those people?
And I feel like he's sort of coming at this with this conclusion that it's fucking horrific and it's really. I mean, this is like fucking Schopenhauer. After
I'm sure he's influenced by him.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he quotes him in the book and the.
How old is he?
I don't know how old he is, but
motherfucker's anonymous.
Well, I'm sure there's some pictures of him. But yeah, he never shows his face in interviews or anything like that. I don't think his
views are that fucking...
Well, they've been received pretty badly by a lot of people. Like, first of all, most people just
outright... He's not harming anybody, though.
First of all, a lot of people have done exactly what you did, which is just outright dismissal. Like, just come on, bro. How the fuck can you take this shit seriously, bro? Come on.
No, I respect anybody's opinions. I'm just talking shit, but to a degree, it's like I don't agree with it at all, though.
Right.
But... He could have those views. I'm not saying he should fucking...
But here's the main thing, right? Like, is it for somebody that's never born, is the fact that that person that's never born, is the fact that that person isn't suffering, is that good?
I wouldn't...
I don't think it's good.
I wouldn't even have a feeling over it because there is nothing to feel over something that's not existing.
Right.
It's just...
He knows that.
But
he's saying comparatively, right? Is it better for that person never to suffer, right? Versus if you bring them into existence, you're gonna create somebody that is gonna suffer.
Yeah, but I don't like that. I don't like that argument. I don't like it because it's like we're just going into like I could be like, yo, Santa Claus and blah blah blah. Yeah. But like, what are we talking about now? Like, it's very, like...
I completely agree with the vagueness of it.
Like, come on, like, we can... That's
and I think he agrees with the vagueness of it.
Yeah, like...
But he thinks it still stands.
It's not logical, bro.
No, his argument is not a logical argument. It's an intuitive argument, is what it's called, right? So he's taking human intuitions and accounting for them using this asymmetry argument and the other asymmetries that he has.
Yeah.
And then he's also using this sort of Schopenhauer, the shit that's... I honestly have to question how far he is influenced by Schopenhauer, because I think it's much more than even he might recognize.
Yeah, but Schopenhauer had kids, did he?
I don't know if he had kids or not, but
I'm sure he had kids.
I'm sure those kids killed themselves if they existed.
Nah. I'm sure he was probably just down. He was depressed, bro. Let's keep it a buck. He was just a depressed fucking...
That's the thing about pessimism and optimism, is that they're not logical. I mean, I don't think that... I mean, you can say shit like, oh, life is so bad that it would have been better not to have been born at all. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what the fuck what does that mean?
Yeah, for real. Like,
what does it mean? Why is that the case? Because people think that their lives... when we talk about the optimism bias, for example, right?
Yeah.
We talk about, for example, you ask people what their future is going to look like and whether or not good things are going to happen, and they tend to overestimate what good things are going to happen, right? So what's the chances that you're going to end up, getting married like you want to be, having a Mercedes like you want to be, having this, all this external shit.
Right. Most genuine happy people would answer like that.
They would say, "Oh yeah," well, they would tell you, I think in my future probably gonna get this or gonna.
Yeah, that's common, bro. Yes,
but my thing is that first of all, that's not even something that is gonna bring the individual happy. Like, some of those things could help with happiness, like having good relationships and health and shit. But first of all, the happiness thing is a problem in and of itself. He doesn't ascribe it to happiness; he ascribes it to good and bad.
That's it.
General. Right.
Okay.
Because it should be able to apply to anything that a philosopher would say is good or bad, which is why he gives the Epicureans as examples, right? He gives them as one example. One of the things I would have been interested to see is him give the Stoics as an example.
But when you say he brings up the Epicureans, you're saying he's using them as an example of what's good? Is that what you're trying to say?
He's using their conception of what's good and
just pleasure?
Well, pleasure is the greatest good for the Epicureans.
So that would be
right.
Okay, just making sure.
And so to be harmed is bad
because it's not pleasure.
Well, I mean, the Epicureans. First of all, I'm not as interested in their philosophy.
I'm aware of this, bro.
Compared to the Stoics at all. Only as far as it helps explain the Stoics and their rejection of Epicureanism. But
I think you might have the Epicureans a little fucked up, bro.
I mean, that's their problem.
All right.
But no. This guy, it's a very interesting set of arguments that he lays out. The way he lays it out is
I'm sure Sam could have fucking destroyed him in this argument.
Sam was telling him throughout this moment, like, yeah, I still don't understand why
we're using
if it's good for someone that wasn't born to not suffer, why is it also not bad that they don't feel pleasure? I mean, why is it a problem?
Yeah, why are we using that as bad?
And why does it follow that, it's better not to die and shit? I mean, not to have been born and shit like that. Yeah, it just seems like an extreme assumption. Right, it just seems like it's a bit much. It's a bit excessive, and I don't think it makes a lot of sense.
Tell me he doesn't have kids, right?
Well, I think he said in an interview he doesn't have kids. But he usually won't answer personal questions.
Right.
But frankly, I mean, I do disagree that life is as bad as he says it is.
I wish he had a stronger argument, though, bro, because I just don't like the whole...
Again, it's the whole thing is it's an intuitive argument, which I think is like that sort of already sets it up as like,
I don't like it, dog. I don't like it.
Come on, bro. And this idea of like trying to explain human intuitions and making all of, just this entire conception of shit. I mean, it's almost like it's almost like the fucking CIA paid this guy to make people kill themselves or some shit.
Yeah, or get on this type of like thinking.
Or just be on some bullshit where you're like, don't fucking have kids, bro.
Yeah, depopulation.
You're fucking evil if you have kids,
Probably why he doesn't want to be seen or some shit, because that's odd.
I don't want to throw that much onto him, because I think for the most part he's just a philosopher who came to this conclusion.
It's a wild one, though.
But I disagree with it. But of course, he says most people are going to disagree with it, but that has nothing to do with whether or not they're justified in disagreeing with it.
How is he justified in that?
And, well, again, his argument is not about whether or not people that are alive should kill themselves or not. His argument is about whether or not
should have kids.
People should have kids. And he says it's morally wrong to have kids. First of all, they don't consent. Second of all,
they can't consent.
They are going to have harm.
They can't consent.
They can't.
So how is that? That's already an error in your argument.
Yeah, they cannot consent. That's exactly what he's saying. Like they didn't agree to take part in this.
But they're not able to agree though. Period. They're fucking babies. They're fucking fetuses. They're
not. He's talking about people that haven't been born yet.
I get it, but I'm saying there'll be no way. We would have to wait until they have a fucking thinking brain.
Well, that's his whole thing. It's like if you can't get consent from someone for something, then you shouldn't just impose it on them.
That's dumb as hell. Then he wouldn't be able to be on this earth to even expand these views.
Oh, well, his book is called Better Never to Have Been, so he does think that it would have been better if he had never been born.
Shut the fuck up,
That's
dude.
his whole argument. I mean,
he must be fucking depressed. What is he going through? He cannot be fucking happy spewing this, bro.
Well, I mean, on the one hand, he says that, and then on the other hand, he says that, people, once they're alive, they have an interest in staying alive.
No shit.
And so, it doesn't necessarily follow that they should kill themselves, but I think that's bullshit, because if a person, if life is really as bad as you say that it is,
you should end it.
To the point where you should not have kids because it raises this possible risk of harm. I definitely think that the possibility of a good life tends to outweigh those harms for the vast majority of people. And of course, he thinks that you can't outweigh the harms with the goods. But to be fair, the harms that he's talking about are subjective as fuck. These are abstract, like fucking notions. And they're so abstract that you can apply them to different conceptions of good and bad. And so that's very fucking abstract shit that we're talking about. And so, frankly, that to me is a huge problem, because it doesn't tell me anything about what good and bad is. If I don't know what you mean by good or bad, then how do I know that whatever the fuck is bad is outweighing the fucking good? That's a problem.
I think he just needed to come a little stronger with the argument.
The problem is it's an intuitive argument. That's another fucking issue with it.
When you say intuitive, what does that mean exactly?
It's based on intuition. It's based on the judgments that seem correct to him and to what he says most other people in general. He says
there's no definitive answer.
Part of the reason why he gives out this chart where he lays out scenarios of like good and bad for people that exist versus people that don't exist is because he thinks that this chart explains other intuitions that people have, right? Like he says that nobody thinks that you have a moral, people might say that if you were so genetically fucked up that you were going to have a kid and that kid was going to end up being, just suffer for 2 years and then die, right? Then most people
wouldn't have the kid.
Most people would agree, it's like it would be irresponsible for you to have a kid just to like have it just suffer and die, right? But then on the other hand, when it comes to the
what if it was the opposite?
The opposite, he says, nobody feels like you have a duty to have a kid to make him have pleasure in life. Right, so then that's not bad, but then
he said parents don't have a duty.
He said no, not that parents don't have a duty, that individuals don't have a duty to create kids just so that they can
make pleasure. So
that you can make more pleasures in the world, right?
I mean, why? Then what would be his answer to that? Then why do?
No, but he's not trying to explain why people have kids. He's trying to explain what people actually believe, and that those beliefs themselves lead to his conclusion.
Okay.
That's what he's trying to say. So again, he says that people don't have an issue with kids, with somebody that says, oh, you know, your kid's gonna be all fucked up if you decide to have a kid because, you know, the way that your body is, the kid's gonna end up sick, and you know,
I agree. Right, we talked about this, and then
so that's just suffering, and so that's bad if you do that. Don't do that. It would be better if that kid didn't have to live and suffer like that. The other one is basically that you feel like that person might have a duty. A lot of people would feel like that person has a duty not to have a kid if that's going to happen, because that would just present a bunch of suffering followed by death. Right?
Why though? We're saying hypothetically, if we knew they were gonna die.
No, we're saying what people think is the case. Like most people would agree that a kid,
I'm saying though, in that situation though, it would be hypothetically the kid would die 2 years and he would suffer the whole time.
Yeah, that's just an example. It'd be like terrible suffering and a horrific life, and there's just no reason to bring somebody.
That we wouldn't feel
that.
the duty to bring that kid out there.
We would feel the duty to not bring the kid out there.
My bad, yeah.
And then the other case that he gives is the one that has to do with, like, you know, the opposite, right? So like nobody feels like if you were gonna have a kid that was gonna have immense pleasure, that you have this duty to bring the kid up there so that they can have immense pleasure in life. Like you're
why?
Well, the way he would answer that is you got to ask the people, because they're the ones that think that.
There's a study that says that or something?
He's not even quoting a study for that. He's just saying that people generally think that, which I already think is a fucking problem, right? Because that's,
I mean, if you're just saying things,
yeah,
so we're just saying what you think people say, then sure, go at it. I could just be like, yo.
So he says that most people would agree with that.
I don't agree with that. I think maybe there are.
You think people should have a. I
don't think people should. I agree that people feel like they have kids so their kids can have pleasure or just have a good life.
No, he doesn't disagree with that. He disagrees that most people think it's a duty for you to go out there and have a kid so that they can have pleasure, and that we should have as many kids as possible so that you can maximize the amount of pleasure that's existing among individuals, so you can have a shitload of individuals that are happy.
They're just good, happy
as fuck, and that you have an imperative to just keep pumping out those little shits. That's not what he's.
Okay, I got you.
So also, he's saying nobody has a duty. So since it's not a duty, then it's not as strong, right? It really doesn't have that value because it's not a duty. At least that's part of his explanation.
Okay.
And so
I see where he's trying to come at. Okay.
On the other hand, for the kid that's suffering and shit, you do feel like people have a duty to not do that, to not bring a kid that's just gonna fucking suffer and die or some shit like that, right? Immediate, just fucking horrific conditions
right.
of pain and torture.
I mean, I agree, but who says that the parent wouldn't want to have him out? Maybe things happen, but I get it. It's a hypothetical.
But this hypothetical, he says, applies to his asymmetry argument, and that in the non-existent kid, it's good if they're not born.
Because just in case if that happens.
So it's good that person is not suffering, which, again,
the existence
that
shit.
to me is bullshit.
Right.
But it's not good. I mean, it's not bad if they don't feel pleasure.
Right.
Because there's nothing lost. Because they don't exist.
They don't exist.
Let's say, if they don't exist,
then that already
so what the fuck is the good?
There's no good either.
So the absence of something is not a good. I mean, he says he does it for comparative reasons, but then that also ends up being fugazi as fuck, and then
it falls short, bro.
The whole conception of good and bad is also a ridiculous, vague notion that he attributes to a bunch of different ideas in an abstract form, without really giving me much of anything. The optimism bias, I think it falls short as fuck. I don't think it really has any explanatory value in terms of how bad actually life is. I don't think he demonstrates how bad life is. I don't think he can, because it's a subjective ideal in the first place.
Period.
Second of all, the way that people conceptualize, things and how bad things are, it actually has an effect on how much people suffer, for example.
I mean, respect for trying to...
This is what the Stoics were up to.
I mean,
the Stoics were up to this idea that, look, I mean, the way that you think and conceptualize things as being good or bad or evil or virtuous is really this is really what's leading to
determining everything,
determining the way that you feel about shit. Because, of course, if you think that it's terrible that Stacy at the office didn't want to fuck you, then of course you're gonna feel bad. But if you thought that it doesn't matter whether or not Stacy fucks you, well then you're not going to feel bad because you don't think it's bad. And
I'm actually pretty stoic when I think about it, like subconsciously. Like,
well, there's a lot of that, and so like so a lot of it has to do with human psychology as well. But he doesn't consider any. Again, at the end of the day, what he's saying, this is what I think one of the most important parts of his whole thing is
the pin on the tail.
Somebody, if you bring them into existence, there's no guarantee that they're going to have a very good life.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
there is a guarantee that there's going to be some harm in their life. So for this is a man for whom, if you were born and you had a great life, but you got a paperclip, I mean, you got a paper cut. That's it, man.
That's it, man. You should have just.
You were better off never having been born.
What's the new term? You should unalive yourself.
What the fuck is unalive yourself? Is that some Jeffrey Epstein shit?
That's the new. Excuse me.
Yeah.
The new way to say. Online to not say like
kill yourself.
Yeah. They say unalive. That's the new TikTok term. Oh my God, he unalived himself. Like, I'll be like, what the fuck? Shut up. Like, yeah.
If they ban that, people just come up with a new one. It'll be like, decrease your heart rate to 0. You know, just
yeah, like pedophile is PDF file.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, that's the new.
I've seen that one.
But dude, what's homie's name again?
His name is
Benetar.
David Benetar. Yeah.
Benetar, interesting guy, but
yeah, I
don't know, kind of fall short. Like
my whole thing is like it's very interesting, the idea that because it's true that if somebody is born, they're gonna have, you know, they're gonna feel bad at some point, or
that's the only like maybe thing he could put in the argument.
Whereas if they're not born, that's not gonna happen. But I'm saying, but the idea, the real question is it worth it? And his thing is, it's not worth it, no matter what you say, motherfucker. It's just not. It's terrible. And it's
has he? So he thinks that the human race should stop.
He definitely thinks that the best thing that could happen is for humanity to go extinct. Now, if you were to ask him, like, should we kill people that are alive? He's like, no, people that are alive have an interest in being alive, and you can't tell somebody else whether or not they should be alive. Again, he's not a nihilist. He's the exact opposite of a nihilist in many ways, because what he's saying,
his meaning,
is that there actually is something terrible going on.
Right.
Whereas a nihilist would tell you all of it is
meaningless.
Meaningless. No, this is bad. This is very bad. This is horrific. To the point where it's better if it never happened in the first place.
Did he ever explain? Did he ever give like a real concrete way, like why is life so terrible?
I mean, he talks about like he gives examples about shit like
did he have a bad life?
He doesn't really talk about that, and I honestly it's irrelevant.
But it
really is irrelevant. I mean, it's interesting, but it's irrelevant. Yeah, no, I agree. It would be interesting.
Because that's probably where shit stems from. I don't know. I'm just saying.
But yeah, I think he definitely inserts a negativity bias into philosophy.
Yeah, like it's like very. I mean, it's cool, I guess. Fuck it, but I don't know. I don't agree with it at all. Do I think? I don't know.
And I don't think it's very well substantiated. The claim that life is.
Forget that though. Just stopping the human race is like crazy. Because that's what it leads to.
Well, the idea is that if it really is bad, then he's justified in making the idea and saying that it should stop. Because if it really is so bad, that it would have been better.
Yeah, I would say that's what I would.
If he's right, then that would be the thing that should be done.
That's Jim Jones the planet then. Like,
right, but I also think that, I mean, if life is that bad, that nobody should have been, that none of these people should have been born in the first place, then I also think that it really would not be bad if all of these people died, despite them having an interest in continuing to live, because of the fact that life is so terrible. That
right, like the comparison to the kid that's going to be born for 2 years only. Like
they give him the example. Sam Harris gave him one of these examples. People have given him this example like 3 times. I've never found an answer that he said that was satisfactory to me, but.
Okay. I figured
it's basically like, all right, so there's 7-8 billion people in the earth, right? And so basically you have this.
You're telling me every 8 billion of them has a terrible fucking life? Come on, bro.
Well, basically what they ask him is like, look, you got a big ass red button, and if you push it, everyone is gonna die without knowing it, without any knowledge of it, without suffering one bit.
Nobody gets hurt.
It just all ends right here.
Would you do it?
And he says, no, I would not do it.
Cap.
And he also says that his argument that explains why people would be better off not being born does not lead to that conclusion.
It doesn't lead to that. Okay, sure.
So it doesn't follow, right? And so he starts coming up with shit like
I get it.
Because like I don't have, nobody has the right to tell somebody else how they should
live their life.
Yeah, but if it's objectively true that it's better
to not be
for them to be that way. Yourself. I mean, if you were at a point where you were at God level knowledge, right, of what's good and bad for people, then it would be the right thing to do. Right. The same way that to euthanize a dog, right, because the dog doesn't know what's best for it. It doesn't know anything about biology. It doesn't know anything about, a lot of shit. So you, in terms of intelligence compared to the dog, are much more capable of making that decision if you actually care about the dog.
Yeah.
And so in the same way, I mean, if you really have all this knowledge about how whether or not they have an interest in living for whatever fucking reason is superseded by the fact that you are going to be eliminating immense badness from the world if you actually got rid of them. And the fact that you don't agree to get rid of them, I think, is a huge flaw in actually taking his argument seriously.
And bro, there's so many goods in life that you could experience, whereas the person would never experience it. But obviously he's going to be like, yeah, because they never existed, so it wouldn't...
See, but I don't even know what the fuck he means by bads is part of the issue. I assume he means things like feeling bad and then feeling pain.
Suffering.
That sort of shit, right? Because I really don't... It's very vague to me.
Yeah,
it's very fucking vague.
He's got to be more...
And if the bad is going to be so bad that it should wipe out the future of human existence and of all sentient beings, then, I mean, goddamn, I think I need something stronger than what you're putting out there, fam.
I would ask him, like, do you think, I would have just asked him, like, I mean, it's just impossible that everybody lives such different lives. To say that everybody...
Yeah, but each one of them includes harm. See, that's his main point.
Yeah, but not all of them... Some people don't even go through harm their whole life. In the sense where, like, it's like some, like, crazy shit, like, or, like, a traumatic event or this and that. So, sure, people die and eventually, I don't know what happens. Some people live a healthy life their whole life.
And then they die.
That's the only... I guess if you want to consider that...
To him, the paperclip is enough. I mean, the paper cut is enough, right? So...
But why, though?
Because it's bad versus whether... Look,
so it doesn't matter.
To him, the bad is infinitely worse than the good is good.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. That's horrible. I don't like that.
And so that's where he's coming from. And I mean, I don't think...
To make it seem like every bad is equally the same is fucking ridiculous.
Here's one example he gives, right? Like, all right, say...
A paper cut is not the same as somebody getting fucking... rocked in their face.
That's true, and he knows that, and he agrees with that. But the point is this, right? Here's one of the examples he gives people, or one of the questions he asks people. If I were to tell you that I could give you 5 minutes of the best pleasure, most satisfactory experience,
sure, that you'll feel
for 5 minutes, and then you also have to get
the 5 worst.
The worst, right? 5 minutes of the worst.
Okay.
Imaginable situation, condition, feeling, etc., whatever, badness.
You would ask me would I do it?
He asked you whether or not you would do it. It doesn't matter the order, which one comes first or whatever. But what matters is, would you accept that?
It's a good question, though. I'll give him that.
And so most people would say no.
Obviously.
Because and so that's why he says that the bad is infinitely not. He doesn't say
it's a good one. He doesn't
say infinitely.
I know what you're trying to say, though. Yes, I understand it.
But he does say that the bad is worse than the good. But
that possibility, it could be that worse.
The problem is that relies on extremes.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's so like, but it's okay. It's an okay analogy. I give it to him. But yeah, it's interesting though. I'll give him that. But I don't know, man. I can't rock with that. Like,
I just don't find anything in it that leads me to say, okay, he's got a fair point in that life. It's better never to have been.
Yeah, bro.
I don't see that part coming out as a result of the shit he's saying.
We have human bias. You feel me?
I know. And so apparently some humans have anti-human bias.
True.
Most people have an optimism bias. He has a pessimism bias.
No, I was just saying we have human bias compared to the non-existence bias, you know. So.
Right. We definitely don't have a non-existence bias.
So it's kind of hard to. But I'm sure if you ask the whole world, would they rather be living or never have been born?
Be careful. Because his argument is not about whether or not living people prefer to live. It's about whether or not it would have been better for people not to have been born, and whether or not it's better not to bring new kids.
I'm only bringing that up because he claims that life is so terrible, though.
He does.
So I'm just saying, if we just get a survey and see if we think that, let's survey the whole world, and let's ask them, do they think life is that terrible? And,
right.
And I'm sure.
And I think I also take issue because when he responds, when people ask him, is it that bad?
Yeah, right.
Right. I mean, why shouldn't people just kill themselves then? Why shouldn't that be the solution to this problem? And he says something like, well, once they're born, they have an interest in living, and I don't have the right. It's like, I don't give a fuck if you have the right. The real question is whether or not they should. It would be better for them to kill themselves. And if the answer is no, then life clearly is not as bad as you think it is.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Or at least as far as you're claiming it is. There's a discrepancy because it's still a life, whether it exists or it doesn't exist. The badness of it, right, is something that could potentially exist if this person comes to life. And so that badness is bad, or it's not fucking that bad. And if it's good enough, right, so that a person could keep living, I don't see why it's not good enough for a person to be born.
Right. If the studies show that more people have a better life or just have...
Most people are pretty... Look, if you take studies of people, even people in India where people are supposedly so oppressed and shit like that, and there's problems and shit, but the fact of the matter is, people are mostly happy, bro.
Yeah, bro.
So
this is not even.
So that's a huge problem.
We don't even got to argue this with just studies. We could just just people you talk to.
Again, the man has read Schopenhauer too much.
Yeah, but with Schopenhauer, even that.
No, Schopenhauer's depressing as fuck. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He thought that people shouldn't have been born.
No, he thinks life is a fucking tragedy. This shit sucks. You know, it's fucking terrible. Let me tell you how much it sucks in great detail so you can, be in a situation.
Did he have a depressing life?
Well, I mean, if his philosophical works are representative in any way of his mindset, which I would assume they are, then
sure,
I don't think he was that happy a guy.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Let's keep it a bug. I'm sure that has
unless he was capping. A lot of people have the ability to cap. A lot of people have the ability to just, speaking of that, there's this really interesting study they made about antinatalism to see whether or not antinatalism, like the belief in it, is associated with the dark triad. And in psychology and psychiatry, the dark triad is basically the combination of traits that are psychopathic, narcissistic, and Machiavellian.
Or if any of those are linked to people that...
Not any of those. The dark triad, the combination of those three.
Oh, the combination?
Yeah, this is a...
What the fuck? That's a thing?
Yes. It's called the dark triad, and yeah.
In actual...
Yeah, in psychology, yeah.
That's a base-ass name for it.
Right.
But, say it again, narcissism?
Narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy.
Sheesh. And? The results?
Yeah, it's more likely that people who have those dark triad traits to be antinatalist and to have...
I mean...
negative views about procreation.
If I was a betting man,
Yeah.
I'm sure. You think he is?
I don't know.
The whole not showing your identity. I don't know. I mean, he must be big.
I can't shit on him for that because I'm doing the same thing right now.
I was gonna say.
And I don't think I'm a dark triad guy.
Nah, of course not.
But I'm also not, I'm not promoting the agenda that he is.
Right, and then again, he's not promoting anything that's fucking out of this world either. Like, people have said this before. It's not something...
He's a philosopher. I mean, at the very least, it's interesting. He has every right to have the
bro.
idea that he's
There's nothing
having.
wrong with that, bro. What the fuck?
So I think anybody that's sending this guy death threats, I mean, you're fucking... Yeah, you're the dark triad, motherfucker. Relax.
For real, like, that is some weird shit.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it can't be... People cannot be so fragile about opinions that they think somebody should die as a result of having them. If that's the case, if you kill that guy, you're a pussy.
No, you need help. Like, for sure. You need to take some pills. If you're sending death threats to a man because of their opinion...
I don't know about death threats, but I would assume that he's gotten a very negative and a lot of people pissed off.
Oh yeah, bro. People are crazy on the internet.
At the onset of his book, one of the first things he says, most people are just going to outright dismiss this.
Right.
And not engage with it and not understand it and not take it seriously. And I expect that to be the case. He also, when he makes his recommendation about how humanity should go extinct and all sentient life would be better off extinct.
I'm glad he's aware, though. Yeah, this is a piece of shit, guys, but fuck it. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's very...
Wait, he's aware of what?
Huh?
You said he's aware?
Yeah, like in the beginning, he's like, yeah, that no one's going to take this serious or whatever.
Oh, yeah, no, he knows that.
Yeah, but I mean, then why?
But people are taking it seriously. That's the thing. Philosophers are taking it seriously. He's had a bunch of people reply to his shit, and there's a shitload of philosophy papers that have been published as a result. And and now there's also like people have also. He's also replied to these people, and an article of his own. It's called "Still Better Never to Have Been."
Oh wow.
So he's doubling down on this shit.
I mean, of course, he's gonna make his money.
And that's how philosophers do it, bro. You know, you got they see. It's not like in the Socrates days, like nowadays, bro. Your whole reputation, and most philosophers are Epicureans in terms of like their actual. They value pleasure and feeling nice and having tea in the afternoon and shit. And,
of course.
And those guys.
This is all cap.
Those dudes live in that aesthetic life.
For sure.
It's hard to get a guy like that to not be a pussy.
You think a lot of these people out here are grifting?
Philosophers?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of bullshit in philosophy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bullshit philosophers, but there's no standard in philosophy that you can judge and be like, this is fake philosophy.
Right, because it's all philosophy.
Because it's, the problem, that's a problem, right? Because it's not like science where you can say, this is pseudoscience.
Right.
And you can demonstrate it empirically.
Right. And
philosophy is just a competition of ideas. And somebody defends, somebody opposes, and
that's it. Yeah.
It's been thousands of years, and people still argue about whether or not Epictetus had something on Epicurus.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But Benetar is interesting, to say the least. I don't know though. I can't agree with it though. Is there more to it though?
There's a lot more to it, bro. Listen, first of all, I want to apologize to David for the fact that I'm sure I made some, what he likes to call when he mentions people not correctly phrasing his arguments. I'm sure I had some confounding variables in these arguments, as he likes to say, and I'm sure that I probably didn't get it 100% correct.
Even then, though,
but
bro,
I think I got some of it correct enough to understand that it's not something I agree with.
Dude, I don't agree with stopping the human race.
I mean, listen, my whole thing is that I don't think that it's as bad as he says it is.
Yeah, bro, and that's just.
I just don't believe that, and I don't think
we're living proof.
I can't see anything in what he shows. I mean, the positivity bias doesn't tell me, the optimism bias doesn't tell me anything about how bad it is. But I mean, what are your general thoughts on Benetar?
Pretty much the same thing. I don't agree with we shouldn't stop the human race. I mean, there's nothing else I
such a wild sentence if you really think about it.
Like as soon as you brought him up and once I heard the idea, I already knew it was gonna be something I didn't agree with.
He also appeals to our instincts as something, because think about it like this, right? it's almost manipulative if you think about it, because if I were to tell you, well, of course you want to reproduce, you're biologically programmed to have that desire, but it's so bad, and frankly it would be selfish and morally wrong for you to do so, and you should resist that drive. It's that drive that's telling you to do it. You got to resist your intuition. Remember, his is an intuitive argument, and so
yeah, but does that make it? That doesn't make it a.
But the conclusion of his argument is completely. It's non-intuitive, which he says it clearly lays that out.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Just the whole non-existence comparative using that threw me off. I'm like, I'm not a fan of that part.
Yeah,
like,
but see, that's not really. You understand that's not much of an argument against his, though.
I mean, of course.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it. That's what I just said. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's obvious that life isn't that terrible.
I'm not convinced by it at all, in the least.
Yeah. I mean, he could keep spewing it. I don't got nothing against it, but go hit up that organization, whatever they're called.
To me, it is an example of, listen, if it's terrible, it must be true. You know, and I know that's a straw man in many ways, but I think there's a lot to it. You know, a lot of these conceptions that if it's pessimistic and it's not so blatantly false that I can just outright dismiss it logically, then I can hold on to it and say that if it's terrible, it's true, and continue the pessimistic cycle. Because a lot of it, I think, is just, depressive mumblings of people like Schopenhauer, who try to lay out a foundation for life sucking.
Yeah, don't spew that shit onto us.
And making it it's a completely, don't get me wrong, it's ethics, so of course it's
cool.
Of course it's subjective, but I also don't think that there's any logically consistent rationale for it. And fair enough, it's an intuitive argument.
No, there's good elements to reading some of that.
Oh no, I think it depends too. I don't want a motherfucker that's suicidal reading that shit.
Maybe they might connect with it. It might help them.
It might, but it might also push them off the ledge, and it's more likely that it'll contribute than heal.
No, I don't know. Maybe Schopenhauer was like, "Yo, read my books if you're depressed."
I'm sure that that is not what he said.
I know.
He was not promoting his book as an antidepressant.
Right.
He was actually promoting it as a way to let you know how terrible your life actually is. I mean, you might not be aware of how much, your life sucks, but let me tell you why your life sucks, because I know why it sucks more than you do.
I doubt it.
And I know that you think that it's good, but if you knew how much it sucked, you would really feel bad.
I gotta read more and understand. I gotta see why he thinks it sucks so bad.
Again, it's a subjective.
Well, I just want to see what type of
But that one is very subjective. I just want to say that.
Of course, I just want to see what type of angles he uses and ways he tries to
Because I think that one's more subjective than other ethical theories, right? It's not like other ethical theories. They set out, this is good, this is bad, and then they lay out a logical framework to defend the goodness or badness of this relative to other shit. But his thing is, this is bad, and I'm not going to give logical, syllogisms as to, why life sucks so much. I'm just going to compare non-existent people to existent people and say that, this is really bad shit. After I take everything into consideration, I assume that this is terrible. And I can give no further argument than that.
Did he not compare? Why didn't he compare two living people, or with different lives?
Oh, he does. He does that as well.
Did he? Or
he does.
Okay.
He does that as well. Because he recognizes that it's very you can't really compare somebody that's non-existent as obviously he knows that you're not benefiting somebody that doesn't exist.
Right.
But he's saying that comparing and in the comparison between that and somebody that does exist, the fact that only one of those people can have harm means that it's better.
I got you.
That person have never existed in the first place because of the possibility of harm.
That's why he uses a non-existent. I get it. Yeah, it wouldn't, right.
Anyway, Benetar, I mean, as you predicted, we're not convinced, and we are dismissing you.
Yeah. What else we got?
That's all I got.
That's it?
That's it. That's Benetar.
Wow. Interesting guy. Where is he from?
South Africa. Yeah.
Shout out to Benetar.
Yeah. Listen, you're an amazing you're amazing at laying out your ideas very succinctly and in so much detail that actually people end up having to spend the entire time they talk with him framing out the details, because he will correct you every half a second because of the most minute shit in his idea. And I think that's also a problem. I mean, I feel like if you could make it, I mean, I understand he's gone a long way to try to explain himself, but I feel like it's not the most simple explanation, and I don't think it's the best explanation, and I don't think it is an explanation for whether or not life is good or whether or not it would have been better to have lived or not to live.
Yeah. I mean, I agree for the most part. Yeah, you can't get me. I'm not... Yeah, life is great, bro.
What do you mean, bro? You're just delusional and don't know how terrible everything is. You need him to tell you.
Well, he didn't tell me.
Well,
I think life's great.
Well, you're deluded, and frankly, it would have been better if you were never born, right?
Listen. And then I'll tell him if I wasn't, I wouldn't even know what that is, because I wouldn't be able to think.
Yeah.
If I'm non-existent.
Yeah.
So that kills the argument.
Yeah, but you also wouldn't, be feeling all the horrific shit that's going to happen in your life.
But then right? I wouldn't be feeling all the great shit.
Yeah, I know, but the terrible shit, it makes it so that it's already out of pocket, bro. It's already better never to have lived just because of the bad shit. I mean, you get one paper cut, that's it, bro. You're done.
Well, I would still live. Like that analogy he used, would you ever feel the most pain you could ever feel and then the best pain? That analogy doesn't work on life, because sure, that could happen.
Yeah, no, I would not take it.
No, I wouldn't take it, but it's I guess he tried to get away with, like, it's not that great, because I think life, it doesn't work like that. Like, sure, it's possible that you'll feel the most pain you ever felt.
Yeah, again, when something is being talked about in terms of how reasonable it is, he resorts to intuition. So he starts talking about how, oh no, my asymmetry argument, it explains all of these intuitions, and if people reject any of these four main claims that are in this intuition and in this asymmetry argument, the other asymmetries as well also make this problematic, because then you would also have to accept other consequences that you don't like, and so right. so then it goes back to this intuition shit. Versus then him bringing up empirical shit all of a sudden, like bringing up psychological papers and shit. And it's like, are you making an empirical argument? Are you making a partially empirical argument as it pertains to this one detail of your argument, and then the rest of it has to do with just intuition?
Yeah,
what are the lines that you're drawing here? Because there's a lot of vagueness, and you can tell how vague it is by the fact that I've seen at least 13 papers that have directly replied to him. And again, he makes these very little vague supposed corrections, and a lot of the times the philosophers are left like, well, you could have been a little bit more clear about what you mean then.
Do you think he's being genuine?
I think he's being vague.
But I'm saying, do you think he's like genuinely believes in or he's just doing this for like...
I think he believes it, but I think he's genuinely vague because he knows he actually is attached to this argument.
You're saying he knows it's not a good argument?
No, I'm saying that he doesn't want to map it out any more than he has to. Because he doesn't want to lose the debate.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to take another piss.
All right, go for it, bro. We'll be back.
Yeah.
Ski-oo!
Yeah, you took too long to return to the pod, bro. I had like 58 good thoughts during that piss that went away.
Damn, my bad, dude.
Drop by drop, they just disappeared, bro.
Sheesh.
It's terrible when that happens, let me tell you.
I am currently baked.
I know, that's clear.
Like...
Not as much as last time, though. Last time we potted, I couldn't see your fucking eyes, bro. You
think so?
Yeah, you looked like some fucking... some Japanese dude staring at the sun, like just...
Respect. You know, this is like with the Freemasons. This is how they.
Is that the symbol? Is that what you're doing right now?
This is how they.
You're doing a little.
This is how they like just like put their hands when they just like. That's what I've read online.
Yeah. Is that like a strategy for beating the meat? Like if you just put your hands in that position and you just go. Is that what it's for?
Andrew Tate always has his hands like this.
Right.
I don't know why.
Maybe I don't know. Who knows?
Anyway.
That's an odd thing.
I always see him doing. I'm like, that's weird.
But
I've read that this is some like secret. Like Freemasons have handshakes. They always have like these weird.
They have handshakes, but I mean, it's not even something that you're gonna use
hand
outside
symbols?
of the lodge.
You don't think Jay-Z throwing up the rock, throwing up the diamond was a sign of him throwing up like shouting out the Masons?
Not necessarily, no. I mean, it's possible, but I don't know. I don't think that he is.
A lot of the times, the eye was like in the middle.
Yeah.
When he was doing it.
Right.
Like the eye of the horse or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I don't know why he does it. I don't think he's clear on it either.
And he also has a song called Freemason. Well, Rick Ross does.
Yeah.
But Jay-Z happens to be on it.
Yeah. I think he said, I said that I'm a Mason.
Not a Mason.
Not that I'm a Mason.
Of course he would say that, though.
And, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck he's on about. You know, that's something to think
Can't believe
about.
that was a thing back in the days.
Although I don't...
Illuminati videos were crazy
I
back
don't recall that there's any, like, Masonic symbols that they do where they put their hands in front of their eyes to make, like, a fucking...
It was some YouTube shit back then.
I understand that there's
There was a lot of symbolism in their music videos.
Yeah. Well, I do understand that there's like a, what is it called?
Explain that. Explain the pyramids.
There is the all-seeing eye.
Why is that everywhere?
First of all, it's a very ancient symbol. Does it have Masonic origins? I mean, the Masons used it in modern times.
Why is it placed in a music video that's going to be seen by millions that could be possibly influenced?
That's a good question. I don't know about that shit.
Like, why is it particularly in music videos that it happened? Nowadays, that's not a thing anymore. But back in the days, that used to be like a wild, weird little...
A little thing they would put there.
Coincidence, bro. And then YouTubers started catching on, and they'd be like, yo.
There would be a lot of Masonic checkerboards in videos.
Checkerboard floors.
There's a lot of that going on, yeah.
Like, what? Like, who is the designer? Who
put that there?
Yeah, like, why did they put that there? Was it because of aesthetic reasons, or was it...
I don't know. Why is there so many, like, why was there an era with so much devil shit in music?
Yeah.
Know? Why is Lil Nas X giving Satan a lap dance? You know, why is that happening?
I mean, I think he's just trying to be clout chasing.
Why is he in the Garden of Eden in the beginning of the video, and then, you know, there's a fucking snake?
I think that whole era of music videos...
Why is there another video where he ends up, like, just fucking representing himself as Christ being crucified?
Cloud chasing again. I think he's just...
So what the fuck is that about? And then there's the other ones, like, what's this guy that he made this, what the fuck was that track about? In the workshop or some shit like that?
In the workshop?
Yeah, it's like this gay-ass dude. He was like doing something unholy or some shit like that.
Unholy?
Yeah.
No idea.
At the body shop?
At the body shop?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That is, it's not even sus. That's just out there straight up like dick in the ass gay.
No, I don't know about that, bro.
Yeah.
That's not my...
Yeah, no. That shit went like, bro, I'm talking about like at award shows, he was like top performing and shit, and he was just there dressed up like Satan, fat as fuck.
Oh, you're talking about, damn, what's his name, bro? Yes, he's some white guy.
Yeah. Some fat white dude.
I know who you're talking about. I forgot his name though. Yeah, there was a lot of there was that devil shit in the what was that, the Grammys?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
Yeah, they've always that weird fascination with the devil and music.
Yeah.
But that little era where YouTubers were dissecting the music videos and rap.
Yeah, that was a bit, you know, much. First of all, the fact that they claim to know what the fuck that's about, right? That they claim that they know this is Illuminati, Jay-Z.
People are selling their souls.
Jay-Z is, sucking the blood out of a goat's ass.
They're
or some
sacrificing
shit.
family members, all that type of shit. Yeah, I don't know.
It's too damn speculative.
Yeah, I never believed in it, but I always thought there was a lot of weird coincidences. Yeah. Like the only thing that's for sure that we could say is the symbolism. And the
symbolism is definitely there.
That's what we could say.
Why it's there.
That's the problem.
What's with the universality, the fact that it's across genres and that it's at the top, at the pinnacle
of the music.
Of like the famous people is that you see this just pop up.
Like, why does it so happen?
Why can you find every single celebrity doing that shit, like with their eye and
the eye shit is
covering
gross.
The covering one eye? Why?
Why is that a fucking art decision always?
Who does that?
That shit always. That is true though. The one eye shit and album covers. It's fucking common as fuck.
And I guess the problem is that you can't. First of all, you can't say that you know why they're doing it unless you have some evidence. And then the other part is that it just bringing it up already causes a problem, because then it's like, what are you implying, bro? I've seen those YouTube videos when I'm high, bro. I mean, are you retarded?
No, it's true though, bro. Like, no, but they had something. They had something for sure, bro. I think they weren't. A lot of them were batshit crazy, and they were ODing with the speculative and for sure, but.
Listen, there's a lot going on. I mean, if you look at I
think that's dead, though. Like, honestly, I don't think that's a thing anymore.
Right, but the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing did happen, and he really did have, that structure around his house that looked like some fucking Egyptian rape house.
You sent me those little... I've seen like one or two.
He really did engage in that sort of stuff, and he was engaged with the highest pinnacles of politics and entertainment. He had a very famous... French dude who ended up suiciding himself as well shortly before he did. The guy's name is Jean-Luc Brunel. And he actually had a modeling agency that would actually facilitate a lot of the human trafficking that Jeffrey Epstein had. Again, both of them ended up Epsteining themselves, killing themselves, suiciding themselves.
Do you think the list is ever going to come out?
The client list?
Or whatever list that's supposed to, where we see everybody.
There's the flight logs. There's not the client list.
The flight logs is out?
The flight logs are out. You can see who flew on his plane. You can't see who was on his client list.
That's classified. We can't.
Yeah, and the other thing is that I think it's pretty much, it's a honey trap. Basically, operation is what I think it is. I think he was probably working with intelligence agencies.
The government themselves.
I'm not gonna lie. I think he probably was working with.
You think he was part of the CIA?
I don't think it was even the CIA. I think he was working for the Israeli.
The fuck?
For
you
the
think
Mossad.
That's what you think?
Yes.
You really think so? Dude, that's like...
First of all, the fact that...
Before you even say anything, that's like a lot of what, like... I've read that on Twitter already. Like, people are claiming... First of all, Twitter is on some, like, extreme anti-Semitism shit. And
I've seen it, yeah.
I'm not even gonna front. Like, I don't... Listen, people can say whatever they want, but I think that shit has gone... Like,
no, these people.
I've just been seeing it a
bro,
lot.
I'm sorry, but like, all you gotta do is just say hi, and already you're gonna see a motherfucker talking about bringing back death camps. All right, like,
it's just
it's
wild,
intense, bro.
bro.
Like, and it's first of all, I mean, how can you justify it?
You can't, bro.
How can you, like, you're just gonna collectively judge motherfuckers?
Yeah, bro. Like, I don't fuck with it at all. Like, I think it's so weird. Candace Owens is kind of going on this, like...
I don't give a fuck what she says anymore,
I
bro.
don't either, but she is also, like, kind of... She's, like, trying to get in there, but she's, like, not, like...
I think she's
not 10 toes down.
Here's the problem.
She puts, like, Christ as king... And then says this and that. She's been talking about like how there's so much been propaganda going on from the government and these movies. She's talked about some like
a lot of it might be setting the stage for Christian nationalism.
That's what I'm about to say. She's kind of on that type of timing. Like I'm feeling like James Lindsay has been trying her like because
she is full of shit, bro. Come on, let's be real.
Yeah, I don't even fuck with Candace on that like. What were we just talking about?
I was going to tell you why she's doing it.
Wait, who?
Candace.
Oh, we could have went into Jeffrey real quick. We were talking about that. Epstein.
We'll get back to it, but this is important.
Right, go.
The reason why Candace Owens is
why she's doing
promoting
the Christian nationalism
and all of the anti-Semitic shit and all of that stuff that's coming out, basically, I'll tell you exactly what it has to do with, right? Okay. So you notice that she's been hanging out with Kanye a little bit, right?
I mean, not a while ago she was.
A little bit, yeah.
For sure.
And basically, what she's thinking is, how do I get some of that Kanye dick, right? And so
oh my God. Come on,
the main way for her to get some Kanye dick is to say, yeah, I hate the Jews too, and
that's definitely not it, bro. She's a married
woman. But let me
bro.
just tell you, Candace, Kanye is not gonna fuck you.
Nah, she's really been kind of on that though. Like she said, she was like on this interview with some, I'm assuming it was a Jewish guy, and he claimed that she said like a term that was like racist to like Jewish people. I forgot what it was. Or...
I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of shit that motherfuckers just say it's anti-Semitism. The word has been abused.
You think people are pushing it?
People are abusing.
It's both ways.
Yeah, bro, it's ridiculous. Like, it's not anti-Semitic to say that this particular dude who happens to be a Jew was an asshole, right?
Right, at that point.
And some motherfuckers will just use that shit. Like, you know who uses it? This is the most hilarious part. Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer.
Oh, Alan,
yeah,
whatever his last name is.
That
Dolphish words or some shit.
Yeah. Dumbledore or some shit, right? Who gives a fuck, right? But that guy, I mean, he loves throwing that shit out there whenever it's inconvenient, right?
Yeah.
I mean, anyone who suggests that he's tied to the Mossad, oh, you're an anti-Semite. I mean, that is anti-Semitic, right? It's like, no, it's not. You might think it's speculation. You might think it's not justified, but to say that automatically it means that you have something against Jewish people, no. The Mossad is a fucking intelligence agency. I was like saying that if you think that something is tied to the CIA, you hate people from the United States. Like, that's fucking retarded. What are you talking about?
Why do you think Jeffrey Epstein was a part of the... Who were they a part of?
Mossad. It's like, think about it as the Israeli CIA,
I was going to say,
if you will.
Okay. Why do you think that?
Well, first of all, just because of the ties that he has, and also, I mean, look at it, and not just ties to the Mossad, it's ties to the CIA as well. As you'll see if you look at just Ghislaine Maxwell and her family. Okay. Her family was actually... Her
dad was like this dude who was rich, and he owned...
He also ended up falling off a boat and dying mysteriously.
Yeah. I've heard about that.
Yeah. And so basically, her sister helped create Google.
Ghislaine?
Yeah, her sister.
No way. She helped make Google?
She helped with the development of that. This was the technology that was used for search engine. She was the one that came up with this sort of shit, and she ended up...
She's loaded.
Working with these intelligence agencies and shit, trying to make that happen. And so there's that, which is already pretty fucking odd. The fact that they were setting up all of these... They were recording this shit. They were recording which politicians were... There's videos of politicians fucking underage girls, is what I'm telling you. And they have them and they won't release them.
How do you know that?
Because he had cameras in every fucking room and he was recording.
Yeah, but we don't know if there's actual... I mean, I'm sure there's probably some, sure.
You're not sure there's actual what?
We don't know if there's the evidence is there though, right?
You think all these politicians went there, saw this guy who's a fucking pedophile, saw all the girls, the young underage girls that were not related to him that he had there, went there various times again and again and again and again and again, and...
Who are the people?
Bill Clinton, perhaps Trump, who knows?
Somebody claimed that Trump was good. I always see somebody post this, that somebody on the court shit that they'd never seen Trump there. I forgot, whatever.
Well, Trump is in the flight logs. I don't know if he's in the client list. But I can tell you I highly doubt that Clinton is not on the client list. I mean, that one is just too much for me to bear to even believe. I mean,
they're too close.
Bro, I mean, this guy went there to fucking receive massages from underage girls. There's pictures of him getting fucking massages from them.
Right.
And just the shit that was... I mean, the fucking prince... First of all, look at the royal family, for example, right? Not only their ties to Epstein, which, by the way, were very close ties. They met the queen various times and shit, and it's such a weird thing.
Right, but wait, hold on. Before we even get to how is Epstein connected to the Mossad, though? You said that his sister, Ghislaine's sister, was working with Google.
Yeah.
They were working with the CIA.
Yeah, the father of Ghislaine was also tied to that. They were huge on Israel and talking about First of all, they were actually Jewish supremacists.
Jewish supremacists?
Yeah, they actually think, oh no, Jews were special. We're the shit and we're better than you.
Her dad?
And you'll never be anything. No. That's what she would say to like the fucking people, the underage girls that they had there.
What the fuck?
And there's various interviews where they talk about it.
Ghislaine is Jewish?
And of course, yeah, so is Jeffrey.
Oh, he's Jewish?
Yeah, and so is the lawyer.
Oh, I didn't know Jeffrey Epstein was Jewish.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. And you're assuming that he worked with the Mossad, or this is proof? This is out there?
Well, also the connections that Ghislaine's father had with the Mossad.
So once they met, then. Well, what would they need Jeffrey for?
So that you can bribe politicians by saying, look at this video I have of you fucking this little girl. Be a shame if that shit went public, wouldn't it?
Do you think that is why we're in this war right now? Do you think Israel controls the U.S. somehow because of that?
No, I think Israel might have some control over U.S. politicians, but like I said, I also think the CIA is involved in this. I don't think it's a singular entity.
They're both, like, they want to do this as well.
Yeah, I think it's, yeah.
It's not Israel like, yo, come on, motherfuckers, we need...
So I think if the CIA is placing a honey trap on U.S. politicians, that's even worse.
Because it's our fucking people, our own.
Because that means that you don't have a government. You have a secret government that's telling the people who appear to be the government what the fuck is actually going to happen. And you can imagine how motivated a politician would be if you knew that he was going to end up serving, fucking life and prison, or end up being suicided, or end up fucking being destroyed in the public by having this video of him fucking an underage girl be released into the public.
Jesus Christ, bro. Damn, that is pretty...
And so that's the heaviness of the shit that we're dealing with.
I read a post, dude, but yeah, the anti-Semitism shit is going...
No, it's insane. People are fucked in the head. I don't know why the fuck people think that somehow there's... It just...
Dude, it's heavy, though. Like,
it seems ridiculous. They think that there's like an entire...
You know who Jake Shields is?
The fighter, yeah.
Yeah, he's like the fucking... the anti-Semitic god. Like, he's like... Every other day I see a post or a tweet, and it's just about... something about Jewish people, and then it's just like, I'm like, god damn, I don't even know how I get these notifications or like these fucking things. I gotta stick to the following, because there's a section on Twitter is like for you, and then I'll see this shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm like, damn.
The problem is that it draws people's attention, and so they click on it or spend a lot of time looking at it, and then it ends up recommending more of this shit.
Becomes your algorithm. I'm like, oh my god. Yeah, sometimes I'll be seeing Nick Fuentes. I'm like, bro, what the fuck?
Why is this motherfucker popping up, bro? Why?
Yeah, bro. Like, I don't agree with anything he says, or like, I don't know, dog. He's a weird one, bro.
He's a very weird one, yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming since he is on... I mean, Elon stood on business and let him on. I respect it, dog, but that's definitely gonna...
Let him on, dog, but fuck, bro. You ain't gotta boost him in the algorithm like that. I mean, goddamn.
No, he's definitely, like, filtered in the sense where he's not getting the same... And that's actually a argument that...
Who knows, maybe...
Jordan Peterson's daughter was having on Twitter, or on X, whatever, where, like... She's like, oh, no, but she was kind of defending herself. Like, I do support freedom of speech, but at this point, the anti-Semitism is getting crazy. We do need to, like, censor it somehow. Or, like, she was saying along the lines of that, like...
Yeah, definitely don't censor.
Yeah, I don't agree with it at all either. Listen, it could be there, but it's just like, damn, like, that's...
The problem is that if you censor it, it's not going away. The people are anti-Semitic. And so if you end up in a situation where you have both anti-Semitism and censorship, I think that's worse.
For sure. And that's going to rile them up even more.
Yeah, because, I mean, first of all...
Their whole thing is that we can't talk about Jews, so we're going to get censored or banned or this and that.
I think a lot of it might have to do with the fact that now people are just allowed to do it, and so they're fucking releasing all of their Jew hatred in one moment.
Could be that, too.
And so that's fucking happening.
I mean, Elon really wants Twitter or X to be the main hub of... What does he call it? X is the main hub of the human race. I forgot what he said. He tweeted some shit there.
Yeah, I'm also curious about his intentions.
I mean, what else? I mean, he has the best answers so far.
I mean, he has the best platform in terms of the freedom that you have to say your opinions.
That's all we need.
But he's trying to turn it into something else as well.
No, you're talking about that WeChat shit.
Oh no, it's not just the WeChat shit. I mean, it's for everything. I mean,
right, but that's more or less like making X the hub for everything type shit.
He does want to make that happen.
Yeah, but you see that as an issue though? That's what I'm asking. That's why I said
course.
WeChat. Huh?
Of course.
Why?
Because first of all, you're again, this goes back to like when we talk about how dependent people are on technology and how increasingly dependent they become on technology. Then the more technology is integrated into one location, the more people are dependent on that one source for that technology. And so if you make it the central hub for all of this shit, that's basically...
He's not legislating it, though. He's not making it.
He's the CEO.
No, but I'm saying in the sense, like, it's not fucking by law you have to use this platform.
But that's
only.
the problem.
You could use any
that's
platform
the problem.
you want.
It doesn't have to be by law. The same way, like, the anti-Semitism, like, nobody is forcing these people to be anti-Semitic. But they are anti-Semitic. And so it's a problem whether or not it's by law or by other means.
People have the right to say whatever they want, though.
They do, but that's not...
So how's it a problem?
Well, it's a problem if those beliefs get enough traction, because people are going to vote on that shit eventually if it ends up getting enough traction.
I agree, but I think there's...
Because public opinion ends up shifting policy.
Yeah, but there's less racist people than racist people.
I agree with that, too.
So there's never... I think the majority of people are not racist.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with it?
That you're saying that voting would change. Like, I think that's a minority, like, of these dudes.
Yeah, everything can start out.
It could grow, sure. I get your point.
I mean, I don't think that... And even a minority can do immense damage if the minority is more active than the majority.
Yeah, I
mean, that's how woke shit works. Most people are not fucking thinking that, you need to let trans pedophiles fuck your kids in the ass. Okay. But the fact that a minority is that vocal that it's in a fucking textbook or some shit for a kid at some school, that's already telling you, like, it doesn't have to be a majority opinion for it to matter. And it doesn't have to be legislated for it to matter. No, it doesn't have to be legislated for it to be, fucking having an impact on all these companies and exposing people to shit that they constantly don't want to see.
I agree.
And so it doesn't have to be legislated.
But I just still don't see how it's going to be a damage, like how it's going to be damage to us or like hurt us.
How it's going to be that? First of all, you got to be...
You're pre-assuming that people are like that people don't use other platforms, that the only X is the one that...
No, I'm saying that his intention is to make X that platform, the one that you can integrate for everything, for financial shit, for social shit, for all of these interests that can be done through, and for AI shit.
Okay, let's say hypothetically it happens and people are hooked to it.
Yeah.
The other platforms aren't leaving.
Well, why the fuck would you want to use the other platforms if all your shit is in one place?
Yeah, but you could use that argument now and people use plenty of platforms.
They do, but there's no platform that does what you're describing. Right? It's like back in the day before people had cell phones, you used to have a calculator in one place.
Right.
You had your computer in another place. You had your fucking phone at another place. You had...
Right, I get your point. Now it's going to be everything's in one.
Okay, so then why would you keep those 1,000 platform accounts if it's all going to be integrated into one place? Do you not think it's going to eventually end up integrating if it ends up being done successfully?
You think it'll lead to... people, you said, holding too much attachment to this one platform?
No, it's not even. It's worse than it's dependence.
Right.
And so here's another thing similar to the DEI issue, right? The DEI issue can lead to fucking people losing their fucking jobs for not complying with stupid things.
Right.
Just a whole host of ways that you can manipulate people without passing a single law. And so imagine how you can do that if you have control over all these different varying sources of technology and you have increasing control over them. And on top of that, you have a system of AI that is not going to become weaker. It's going to become stronger. And the manner in which you can manipulate people is immense. And I don't care how good of a person you are, it doesn't follow that, one, you're going to remain a good person through that process, and two, that you're gonna be able to fucking withstand all the problems that come as a result of that. Because
that would never happen with my man Mark out here.
Mark who?
Mark Zuckerberg. That would never happen.
Well, that's because he's a sentient AI.
Exactly, and he wouldn't allow that to happen on his radar.
Right. Well, I mean, I think he actually does want to end all human suffering, and the best way to end all human suffering is to kill everyone, right? And so this goes back to Benetar.
Maybe him have a little connection, you know? But honestly, though, I don't think... Even if Elon does accomplish that, I think Mark still has Facebook, fucking Instagram. Like, even then, bro, like, Twitter, you could do a lot of things on Twitter that you could do more on Instagram already.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like, it's already...
Yeah, but what I'm saying is not a problem of whether or not I think it's going to happen. It's a problem of what would be the consequences. I mean, I don't think
what are the consequences?
I'm just saying I just told you, but I don't think it's a good idea is what I'm saying.
The dependence, is it?
Especially when it's all integrated into a single source of control.
You're saying Elon pretty much would have too much control?
Oh, absolutely.
Over people.
100%.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't like somebody with that much control over all. I mean, it depends what the things are. We got to be real specific. Like, I'm assuming you think like banking.
He does want to make it banking as well, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, that could be... He's
also,
trying to build like his own like cash app.
You know, Whitney Webb, who's also like she's one of those independent journalists, but she's on point with a lot of shit. There's some other shit that I just don't know what the fuck is.
Okay.
That I'm not completely sure about, but she's definitely onto a lot of the stuff that Elon is doing on X and plans to integrate shit and just basically
what she's predicting.
What she's saying that it probably is leading to, and she thinks it's the beginning of she thinks it's the beginning of a social credit system for the U.S. Right?
Shut up, Elon.
Well, first of all, I don't know why you trust Elon so much. I'm not sure what the fuck that's about. That.
First of all, I'm trolling. I don't trust any. I don't know him, so I can't trust him.
Yeah,
but. I mean, he's shown he has good face, like what he's done so far.
And the free speech shit, yeah, sure.
So we give him the benefit of the doubt for now, right?
Yeah, but even a good person, I don't want to have that. I mean, I don't think anyone should have that level.
No, I'm not saying he shouldn't. Yeah, nobody should have that type of control. But like,
and so just the fact that you're planning that you would.
I mean, I don't know how deep he's trying to go into it.
Oh no, he's explicitly mentioned. I mean, integrating all of that.
You think banking's an issue? Let's say if he just adds that.
That would be an issue.
That's already an issue.
Yeah,
let's just say he had X in banking.
Think about the issues you've had with PayPal, right? Where they've said, "Oh no, we don't fuck with this shit you said on this website, so you can't use our services, and also like we're not going to let you take out your money."
Okay. You think Elon would do some shit like
that? So that type of shit. I mean, I'm just saying that's one platform. Imagine a platform where not only your money is tied, but your money is tied. In addition to the shit that you say and the shit that you like and don't like and all the information they have about you and the fact that anybody who thinks that the government is not going to be using this technology is fucked in the head.
Yeah, but so just
you think they're going to let this go unscathed, not using it? You think the NSA exists for no fucking reason? You think Obama was cool? He was just like, fuck it, we're not going to do it. We did all that bad shit. We're not going to spy on you anymore. Is that is that sensible?
Like I said, I wouldn't agree with somebody having that much control. But I'm sure if it's an issue, I don't know, maybe the government could be, well, what can they do really, right?
Well, the same shit they always do. They spy on you.
And just make sure you're not doing anything funny?
Shit, they might even provoke you to do something funny.
You think the government has thought of killing Elon?
I don't know.
Do you think he's a threat to...
I'm not sure he's that big of a threat. Otherwise, I don't think they would have been giving him all the money they've been giving him for his space program and allowing him to do as much as he's done. I mean, if they saw him as that serious of a threat, they would have done something to cut him off. Perhaps some people, like in the actual legislature and shit, see him as a threat, but I don't think the CIA sees him as a threat.
Nikola Tesla was a threat.
Sure.
That's why they had to...
So they killed Nikola Tesla?
Well, isn't that the...
Who the fuck says that?
That's not a thing?
That they killed Nikola Tesla?
How did he die?
The motherfucker was old as shit with his pigeons.
Never mind. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. But he was a threat to the government.
But what you could say is that like the government came in after he died and that they took a shitload of his documents and we still haven't seen the light of day of that shit.
And all the patents or whatever and...
The patents wouldn't be a problem because you can see patents publicly. Unless they're private and the case of like medications and shit like that.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of shit. I think Billy Carson was saying some shit about Nikola Tesla. Talking about like they
actually scratched that. I'm not sure if that shit I said about patents is true.
It's cool, bro.
Folks, I say a lot of bullshit. Don't
listen to us, man. We're here talking shit. It's but yeah, he was talking about like how the fucking government, they have like these things that if anybody talks about the patents or say something about them, that they'll get arrested or go to jail. Some shit like that. I forgot they were talking about. It was some...
I was there, yeah.
But apparently Tesla had the answers, bro. For free...
No, I had a long conversation with him, bro. It was wild, you know what I'm saying? He was like, talking about a wireless technology, wireless energy. And
that we don't have to be using...
He let me know that the Anunnaki are actually gay trans overlords from other star systems that have come over here to probe the anal beads into humanity.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Swag.
But I think this has been a very provocative conversation. I mean, we've covered everything from the fact that your life is meaningless and it's better never to have had it, to the fact that at the same time, it's also good if you were never born, even though it's not bad that you never felt pleasure if you were never born. And also the fact that, it's all just a big CIA op and nothing exists and it's all just turtles all the way down. And gravity and knowledge and everything is just a concoction of whatever is true, if there is a such thing as truth. And everyone's full of shit, basically. And I like to end on that positive note because I want to inspire humanity. That's my goal.
Swag, respect. You heard it here. N APE. We're out. Peace.
Peace.